My name is Matt Carter. We are at the bus fair. This is my rig, 1997 Bluebird, and this is my space. I've had this bus for 3 years now and bought it to build it out as a workshop space, and then time just turned into me living in the thing, and it's been pretty badass. So this space, originally I built this to be a storefront space. I was gonna set this up, have knives on display and have countertops, and then have wood stove and a hangout space. And a buddy of mine, Jeff, he helped me build these cabinets in the drawers. We put it together, and it just ended up so nice that I was like, this is just too beautiful. And then life kind of throws curveballs at you. I never planned to live in it when I bought it, and I love living in it. I just started living in it and made it work. Housing around Central Oregon is really expensive, and so it's just kind of a good way to find a piece of land to park this and use it as a home. Yeah. So these countertops are Ponderosa that I milled with my Alaskan mill, and then put them here on the counters. So really, I have finished product in this drawer. I'll work on knives and I'll stash them in this drawer, and then, you know, I just keep food. I'll keep chips and things in the drawers, and you know, I have a refrigerator that I tucked under. I thought it'd be nice to tuck the refrigerator underneath the slab countertops. So if I'm not at a show, like right now I'm at the bus fair, and people are going to be walking through checking out everybody's spaces and buses, and so I'll put knives on display, clean up my kitchen area, make it look more presentable than, say, I'm 3 days in on a work bench and the place isn't necessarily as nice when you're living out of it and working out of the back half. Yeah, my cooking situation, I just kept this real simple. I didn't, you know, build in anything. I just got a camp chef and a small propane. And I just cook right up top of here. I'm cast iron skillets and enamel cast iron all the way, and so I'll just fire this bad boy up, and she burns and cooks pretty well. And then, you know, I'll use my cutting board and then prep and cook area right here. It works pretty well. I designed it to put a sink in here. You know, everyone's got a project still, and you know, I was going to put a bigger sink in this space, and I just haven't got to that yet. I'm actually planning on running water and having tanks on the underside and having a water heater. It's one penny at a time. You know, we are all just spending our money and slowly working on what we own. So that's definitely the next step, is to get running water in here. You know, I've had the thing 3 years. I still don't have running water in the bus, but however, I make it work. Honestly, I would not change a single thing. I would put a bigger sink. Originally, this was the one I'm going to put. When I do run water, I'm going to put a bigger sink in the space. I really love the openness here. When I designed it in my brain, it was to have a whole walk, be able to walk all the way down the center of the bus. I like symmetry, and I thought multiple people can fit in this space. You know, 3 people can be standing right here. I can fit a couple people here, a couple people here, and 8 people can be in this thing. It's not comfortable, but they can be in here. I just put a little eating table here. This is just another slab I milled. It doesn't fold down or anything. These are 2 caribou hides that were shot on the Aleutian Islands off of Alaska. A buddy of mine shot them, and he cooked them. He was a chef on a research vessel, and cooked them up for the folks working on the boat. This is a futon pull out. So, you know, I'm just a bachelor living in a bus, so a lot of times I'll just leave this pushed in and sleep on it like that. I went with a full-size wood stove because I love splitting wood and bucking, and I go out in the fall and do firewood and give firewood away. It's just, I love chainsaws, and I love being in the woods, and I love the smell of wood. So I just went for a full-size wood stove. What I did, I actually found this wood stove on Craigslist, and then decided not to buy it because I take my time deciding on if I want something or not. So I'll go look at something, I don't know, think about it, and then I contacted him a week later and thought, that's the perfect wood stove, I'll go pick that up, and then he had already sold it. And so Home Depot carries this wood stove, and how I got a deal on it is I Black Friday'd. Home Depot will price match. This is a really good information, actually. Home Depot will price match anything if they carry it in their store. So I found on Black Friday some company out east, you know, I'm in Central Oregon, so some company out in Maine or something carried this wood stove, and this was an $800 new wood stove, and they had it on Black Friday for $400. So I called up Home Depot and said, hey, will you price match this wood stove? And she goes, okay, let me see. And she pulls up the website and sees it's $400, and she goes, all right, $400, great. And they shipped it to Home Depot, and I just pick it up, throw it in your truck, and bring it and load it in the side door. And then, yeah, I do the side door for the wood loading. I always thought in an emergency, if something's happening with the fire, I can just chuck anything right out the side door, which is really great and is key, I think. And it works for loading and unloading firewood. I just have a bin under my bed, and it's just a plastic pull-out. I never built a wooden. I just use it, works, and I'll just keep t-shirts and socks and underwear under the bed. I just use a 5-gallon jug right now. I haven't, like I said, haven't done the system yet, and it works. I'll use a little 2-gallon Lowe's bucket, and that'll be my gray water, and then I'll use that to water my garden plants, my gray water. I wired up the whole back of the shop. It's a 20 amp system, and the back of the shop is really rigged for most of the electric, and then I just ran electric up this one side of the bus. I figured I was going to put the wood stove here, and I've got the door here, and I just didn't really care to wire electric on this side. It didn't need it, and it works. I haven't had an issue. I just plug in to a 15 amp, and I'm good to go. And then it transitions into my shop space. Which I was going to put a door here, but I just have a tapestry, and these are magnets, and I've got a magnet roof, and I can just kind of easily enough while I'm working, I'll just tarp the whole thing off so steel shavings and wood chips don't get anywhere or anything like that. And then the same concept with the shop space as the front. I just kept the middle open. You know, when you're in a shop space, you're constantly over here, you're constantly over here. You know, I've actually done a couple, what are the videos called, where they time-lapse you working? And it's literally, it's hilarious. You're just kind of like, tink, 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 and then you zoom over, you're tink, 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 tink. That's always fun. So knife making is actually, I always try and stress people. I bring people into my shop, in my space, and they're interested in making knives. And so I always say, you know, come on in, I'll show you what I know, I'll let you see the tools that I have. And what I really push people to know, and what I say to people when they're in here, when they're interested about knives, is to pay attention as I walk you through the process of knife from beginning to end. Pay attention to the tools that we're using for each step. Okay, and there's very minimal tools, and you don't have to have a lot of the things that I have. You can find my knives if you search Carter Knife Co. on the internet. I have a website, carterknifeco.com. You can find my Instagram at Carter Knife Co. Carter Knife Co. Carter Knife Co. Carter Knife Co. Take a look at my knives. Contact me. We can build you a custom knife. I've got knives available I can show you. Yeah. Thanks for the time. Thanks for coming in.